Hey everybody, welcome to the High Path channel. If you're new, my name is Rosa and welcome to our humble kitchen. We are a plant-based family of 7, mainly due to health reasons, and we try to cook really healthy, affordable, and simple meals here in our humble kitchen. Now with inflation going skyrocketing high, I know a lot of us are trying to budget as much as possible and try to cut down our bills as much as possible. If you are blessed with, a no budget at all, then just count your blessings. You're truly blessed. But I know for a lot of us, we do, we're trying to cut down our bill as much as possible, especially in food. So today, since we're talking about budget meals, the one cuisine that I love to go to when it comes to budget meals is Mexican food. Today, I'm excited to share with you some really simple, very frugal meals that I love to cook for the kids to feed our family on a small budget, our large family at that. Let's get in the kitchen and let's cook.
Before we get started, we wash our hands with the very best using Eden Body Care products. Eden Body Care is a Nevada-based skincare company owned by yours truly, our family. We specialize in handmade soaps and body butters tailored to condition the driest skin even in the desert of Nevada. Find out more on our website, EdenBodyCare.com. All right, let's get back to the video.
Now, for those of you who are traditional Mexicans, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be cooking like traditional Mexican food, so please forgive me. I know the importance of traditional flavors and how things are done because I like to keep my Chinese food kind of traditional. So, I only know American food. I've never had like traditional Mexican food, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm going to recreate some of our favorites in plant-based form. So today, we're gonna make some Spanish rice and we're gonna be making some tacos. I did have the idea of making enchiladas, which is really our baked enchiladas, and it's really, really easy. But I decided we're gonna go with tacos today. So we're gonna do some Spanish rice and tacos. First things first, we're gonna chop some onions and some garlic. This is gonna be the base of our rice. Now I'm using jasmine rice because that's just what I have. I don't have like any other rice other than my jasmine rice. I grew up in Thailand and I always loved jasmine rice. It's my favorite. So we're gonna use some jasmine rice. It will add a little bit of a fragrance to it, but I'm okay with that. The more flavor, the better. So the reason that we are starting with the rice first is because it takes a little bit longer to cook. The tacos really don't take much time to fry up as either. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of oil in our pot for the rice, and then we're going to start sauteing the onions and garlic down. We're going to season our rice really, really nicely and then cook it for about 15-20 minutes. Now, seasonings are super important. We are going to add, I know this may not be traditional, but we're going to use some cumin. I like to use some smoked paprika and some ancho chili powder for this. My onions and garlic are nice and kind of soft and translucent. I'm going to awaken the seasonings just by adding it to my pan. So for my family, we're going to be using 4 cups of rice. So I'm not going to measure this. I'm going to put quite a bit of cumin, so maybe like 3-4 tablespoons because I love the cumin flavor. We're gonna just saute that. We're also gonna add maybe like 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika and ancho, maybe like 1 tablespoon or so. Ish. It's always an ish here. For those of you who don't know how the High Path family cooks, we cook when it comes to seasonings, we will always just put stuff in. Just so that my spices don't burn, I'm going to add today. So typically I will use just like a diced tomato. You can use whatever tomato you want. If you have some crushed tomatoes, go ahead and just use a little bit of that. Tomato sauce if you want to. I'm just going to use some fire roasted diced tomatoes just for some added smoky flavor. And that's what I purchased. Now here's the measurement part of, the rice. You want to make sure that the rice is nice and fluffy. So when it comes to using a can of, this is 14.5 ounces of canned tomatoes, this will act as 1.5 cups of water. So for my 4 cups of rice, I will need 5.5 cups of water. So I have 1.5 cups right here, and I have a whole 4 cups of water right here. So I'm actually gonna add my rice. I'm going to kind of, introduce the rice and my flavors and all my spices and tomatoes in, together. Let's just marry them. I'm gonna add some salt, and then we're going to cook the rice a little bit before I add the water. And I also have the fire or the stove on a very low heat, just because I don't want my rice to start burning. I just want to develop some flavors within the rice itself. And for this much of rice, I would say this is like let's say like a tablespoon. Maybe I'll do. You can see all the beautiful spices. Honestly, this is my favorite part because you can see that the rice is going to start absorbing all of those flavors, and I love it. So just kind of give it a little bit. I have my fire on medium now, just kind of get it going, and then I'm going to start adding my water. It's only been like a minute, 30 seconds. So all we're doing now is just to kind of stir it up. We're going to turn our heat up so it starts to boil, and we're going to boil this for 15 minutes. So once it comes to a boil, you're going to cover it, lower the heat to a very low, and we're going to set a timer for 15 minutes. Simple, easy, so delicious, so frugal. It is also important to keep the rice moving at this point, because for some reason when you start adding spices and things, the rice tends to stick a little bit, at least in my pot. So I like to make sure that it's nice and stirred, just until it boils. I can feel a little burnt, but that's okay. I was just doing dishes and I got a little stuck on the bottom. But yeah, so now it is basically boiling, as you can see. So let's just cover it. I turned the stove down to number 2 on my stove, which is basically like a very low. And then we're going to set a timer for 15 minutes, let it boil, do its thing, meld, get fluffy. And then we're gonna steam it, just set it aside, steam it for about 10-15 minutes. Now I also have to say, cooking Mexican food is really, really straightforward. I find that it's just one of those really comforting foods as well, and everyone loves it. So even if you're feeding a crowd like myself, I could probably say that our family is a crowd. Yeah, and I have a growing teenager, they eat a ton. So if this could feed everyone on a budget, it's one of the top cuisines in my book. I would love one day to be able to travel to Mexico and eat some real Mexican food. I don't know if it's like a little bit more difficult to find more like plant-based Mexican, because I know, well, I guess the whole world is quite meat-based. So if you are from Mexico and you're watching this, or if you just know and you've traveled, please let me know if we ever go into Mexico and eat real Mexican food. Can I see some plant-based options? And yeah, just curious. One day, in our dreams, one day we're gonna travel and see Mexico. Okay, it has been 15 minutes. Let me close my cabinets. I have a really bad habit with closing cabinets. But anyway, it's been 15 minutes. I'm going to turn off the stove. I'm gonna let it sit off of the heat for another 15 minutes while we make the tacos. And we're gonna have, oh, and I forgot, I'm actually going to add at the end some beans. I forgot. I should have probably cooked it in there, but I just totally forgot. But I'm just gonna add a can of chili beans, which I have right here. Maybe I'll have like half a can. It's just like rice and beans in one pot. It's gonna be really nice and simple and delicious. And it's gonna have all of those flavors as well. All right, so now it is time to make some tacos. I love tacos. Everybody loves tacos. And actually, I need a sort of fresh element maybe later on. I don't know if I want to, so I'm thinking of doing like lettuce and tomatoes inside the tacos, but maybe I'll just serve it on the side so we can eat it like a salad. I think that's what we're gonna do. So, in a bowl, I've got some drained beans. Now you can use any kind of beans you like. My favorite is the chili beans, which is basically pinto beans. You could use pinto beans, you could use black beans, you could use tofu, you could use Beyond Meat for this protein. Really, whatever is the cheapest, whatever that you can get. I got these for like $1 a can. You can cook them yourself if you want to. I just like the organic ones, and I like my chili beans. So in my little mixing bowl, I've already drained these 2 cans. I'm going to put them in, and we're gonna season our beans in this before we put them in our corn tortillas. And I opted for, this is what I have in the pantry, but I have some cannellini beans and some chili beans, but I really like pinto. That's my favorite for any tacos. And I'm also gonna use some corn tortillas. Now I do have a couple of ways that I like to do this. One is using some enchilada sauce. Enchilada sauce is like chilies and tomatoes, all in one. It's like tomato puree with a bunch of seasonings. And this really flavors it really, really well. And I may just use a little bit, but I don't wanna open up my big can of enchilada sauce. So I think I'm just going to use some seasonings in here, and then we will stuff our taco shells and then fry them up. We're gonna do some delicious fried tacos. It is a Saturday, so today's gonna be a little bit of like a cheat day. Maybe I'll partake in this. For those of you who have been watching our channel, I am on a little bit of a diet to lose my little bit of pounds that I have a goal of reaching. And I don't know, I think I'm just gonna partake a little bit, just a little bit, of these fried tacos and the rice, because it just smells so good in here already. The rice, oh, it smells so delicious. So let's do some seasonings. I've got some onion powder, maybe like, I'd say a tablespoon of each, but you do you. You can taste as you go. If you don't like ancho, don't use ancho. If you don't like smoked paprika, don't use smoked paprika. Do whatever you want to do with your tacos. If you know a more traditional way of doing it. So for 2 cans, I've added like, maybe like, I would say a teaspoon and a half of each seasoning. Don't forget the cumin. Cumin is very, very important in any Mexican cuisine, I would say. The seasoning is some salt. Oh, and some pepper if you have pepper, of course. Okay. And then this is my way of doing it. I'm just gonna use a handy dandy potato masher and I'm gonna mash it up. I'm working out my calories before I indulge in a taco or 3. And some rice. Definitely taste as you go. You can add some lime juice in here as well. I think that would really brighten it. Or if you just want to serve it with a side of limes, you can do that too. This should be really nice and flavorful. I like to leave a few chunks of beans just for some texture, but you can mash this up however you want. And this just comes together so quickly. While the rice is steaming in the back, we're making tacos and it'll be done. Another thing you can add to add a little bit of an umami taste is some coconut aminos. It adds a little bit of sweetness, but also that umami flavor. You can also add some nutritional yeast just for some cheesiness. If you have some cheese, good deal. Use some cheese in these tacos. I don't have any cheese today. So we're just gonna do bean. Oh, it is important if you are using corn tortilla shells to warm these up, because they tend to break on you, and I prefer it to be warm. You can warm this in an oven if you want to do it a little bit faster, but I like to use it. I like to use our skillet, so I'm gonna put these on a skillet and then we will assemble. I completely almost forgot this step, this important step. Now while we're waiting for the pan to warm up, I did go ahead and just add a whole can of chili beans in my pot of rice, and then we will stir it in and get it nice and warmed up inside the rice as well. Time to warm up our tortilla shells. Now you can use oil or you could just leave it without. I added a little bit of coconut oil and just started to toast all of our corn tortillas. You really just want to heat it up for about maybe like 10 seconds or so on each side on a very hot pan, and they are going to be nice and pliable, ready for you to stuff them with this delicious bean mixture. It's not a dip, it's a bean mixture. Trey, my husband, had the idea of adding tomatoes and onions to our beans. I guess it's a thing, but I didn't know, and I've never done this before, but basically we're gonna add some chopped fresh onions and chopped fresh tomatoes inside our bean mixture. So genius.
How is it?
Tastes good. I don't
good?
taste any onion.
Right.
Maybe because there's no onion in the one you got.
Yeah, I have 2 pieces.
Oh! That's a whole world of a difference.
Yeah.
The onion and the tomato.
You're right. It's completely different taco.
Completely different. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Never making
Hit the same again, right?
yeah. Always onion and tomato.
Always.
Mmm.
All right, guys, we have all of our delicious tacos all made with onions and tomatoes. Don't do it any other way. Trey taught me something new today. And then we've got a beautiful plate here with the rice and the beans and the tacos, and we've got our rice here. So everybody, come on, let's eat. It's just us tasting it. Let me know what you think, guys.
I can't.
Isaiah, do you want to eat mine? Get it.
Eat its own. Grab one. It's right there.
Yeah, Dan, grab your own. You're not.
Mmm. That onion is so good on here.
I haven't even tasted it. Onion.
You didn't taste the onion?
Mm-mm.
With the hot sauce is good.
Oh, hot sauce.
I don't think this one had tomato
Rice
though.
don't taste that good.
Yeah, some of them don't have tomato. Huh?
Rice don't taste that good.
Why? What does it taste
What's
like?
wrong with it? It's bland?
Mm-hmm.
No salt. Yeah, I shouldn't salt mine either.
Don't salt anything.
Excuse you. My rice is fine.
I always have
Yeah.
to add salt in
Yeah, Mama. Everybody always has to add salt.
Okay.
This is good. Mama, you need to start adding more salt in everything.
We are gonna finish lunch. We thank you so much for joining us today, making tacos and rice and beans. We hope we inspired you to make something frugal and really delicious, and hope to see you on the next video. If you're new, we would love for you to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.